morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I am going to be showing you a really cute little box for chocolate squares. But first I've got a couple other things to talk to you about. When you join me, please say hello in the comments so I know you're here. Good. Hello, Roseanne. Hello, Paula. Thanks for joining me today. Okay, so it is time for yet another new catalog. I've talked about this before. It is mini catalog for July to December, so that's the holiday catalog. And it's also going to be celebration time, our second celebration of the year for the months of July and August, which means that when you buy either $90 or $180 worth of stuff, you get to choose free items out of the celebration or more. In increments of $90 or $180, there are two different levels of celebration rewards available. But if you would like a hard copy of either of these catalogs, mine arrived yesterday, and I'm happy to get you a copy if you're here in Australia. They are lovely, full of fun stuff, yeah, I'm happy to send them out to you. Just let me know you need them. The other thing I wanted to be sure you were aware of, especially if you're here in Australia, is I am doing a weekend stamp camp of 16th and 17th of July. I've got a whole bunch of really cool projects in mind for that weekend, but it's also going to have time for you to work on things that you want to work on. So the idea is that you would bring your basic crafting kit and anything that you've been wanting to work on. Maybe you've got a one-sheet wonder you've been wanting to do. Maybe you've got some cards that you want to make for an upcoming events that are going on in your family. This is dedicated time that you can spend doing what you want. You can make use of all of my stamp sets and my dies and punches, and you can even delve into my my stash of papers and other things if you want to. I'm providing meals, I'm providing projects and supplies. It's going to be a nice 2 full days of just crafting time. So I need to hear from you and get your payment by the end of the month so that I can get your supplies ordered. And all the details are pinned at the top of my website, nancysniftynotes.com. And yep, I'll remind you about that at the end as well. So let's get started. I did one of these boxes already to show you what we're going to be doing, and the tutorial for these, I will put a link to the tutorial. They're called Ghirardelli boxes because in the US we have Ghirardelli chocolates that we can get in squares. It was very sad to find out we couldn't get them here when we moved, but I have since found Whittaker's, which is a New Zealand brand, very good. If you like Ghirardelli, you'll like Whittaker's. They do squares. Sometimes they're hard to find, but when I find them, I usually pick up a bag so I can make some of these. And Lindt chocolate also has some that have 2 different flavors that have caramel. I think one with sea salt and one without. So it is still possible to make these here, which is great because I think they're really nice little hostess gifts or stocking stuffers or just something to be able to give to somebody. This one I made with the He's the Man designer series paper, and I know it's Father's Day coming up, I think this Sunday in the US. Our Father's Day isn't till September, but it is Glenn's birthday coming up, so I'll probably give this to him. But it just has this little flap, and then you can fit 3 or 4 of these little chocolate bars, chocolate squares in there. But I thought this was a great way to use the die cut are all these little punch outs that come with the He's the Man, and they coordinate with the paper. And the only thing I'm going to let you know is these are kind of thin, so I did go ahead and reinforce this with a bit of cardstock on the back. It was just a scrap that I cut off when I made the box, and I just put it on there to kind of reinforce it a little bit. So I'm going to make another one of those today, but this time, good morning Annette, and hello Gladys. This time I'm going to use Designer Series paper and stamps out of the Lovely and Linen suite. The stamp set is called Lovely and Lasting. This one I'm making for, I've got an appointment with a health provider, and I've I've changed the appointment 3 times in the last 2 weeks. So I think it's time to bring her a little something to say. She's very cool about it, but I feel bad. So I'm just going to bring her a little something. So
I'm sorry you're feeling blue. Talking to a friendly human might help. If you
Siri has gone weird. So I'm just going to bring in my little cheat sheet because I don't have these memorized. But this is in inches. It's hard to hear. Okay, let me see if I have an external microphone on that I'm playing with. So let me know if this helps if I turn this up. Is that better, Annette? I don't know. Let me know if that's better. Okay. Yeah, I did test it right at the very beginning, but anyhow, it's good that it's better. Okay, so I've got a piece of Sweet Sorbet cardstock, and it is cut 4 1/4 by 8 inches. This is an American template, and it is in inches, but it works great no matter what. And then a 2 inches by 8 1/4 inch strip of pattern paper. So the first thing to do is to score it on the short end. Let me just make sure that you guys can see what I am doing. I'm scoring, so I'll get that out of the way. So it's at 1 inch and 3 1/4 inches, or I could just flip it around and score it 1 again, but we'll do it this way. And on the long side, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay. So on one, this is symmetrical. Let me see how well you guys can see. Yeah, okay. So at one end, to make the flap, we are going to come in and cut. And I'm doing it again on the same end. There we go. And you can do this with snips. I just find those long runs easier to do on the paper cutter. Okay, so now we're going to snip off straight across, or mostly straight. There we go. So that's going to make our box flat. And then the other thing we need to do is be able to get the sides. So on this 1 inch spot. And I find it makes a nicer box. I want the long flap to have a very straight edge, but the part that's going to be tucked inside, I'm actually going to cut a little wedge out, so it's like a little mitered, and that helps neaten it up a little bit when you fold it in. And it's going to be totally hidden, so it doesn't have to be super straight or even, you know, equal on each side. You can see this one is not equal at all. Okay, so there are those. So now we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to burnish all the folds. You can see how when you're used to doing them, they're really fast. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make our box, and you can use glue or you can use tear and tape. You just need to be sure it's a strong adhesive. And this is on the outside flaps. See, it's going to go together like so. So, going to pull off these. I was worried the wind was going to be up and you guys would be able to hear my window howling. But now I'm thinking you can hear Noah snoring. So I like to come up from the back. Because if you didn't want to put Designer Series paper on this, then the seam is at the back. And you could, it wouldn't be here on these front corners. So that's one. My finger. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to do it with glue also, just for the heck of it. Just put a couple runs of glue. With the glue, I mean, you want to push both of them to get it all nice and snug in there. With the glue, both of them, you need to be sure you get it lined up right. With the glue, you may need to hold it a little bit more depending on the humidity where you are. There we go. So that is the box done, except you'll probably want to trim off this flap a little bit, just because it's hard. You won't be able to tuck it back behind something if it goes all the way down. So that's 2 inches. I don't want it quite in half. I have to look at what I'm doing. So I'm going to do probably, I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. Cut off there. And then you can see that gives me a nice flap to tuck behind something there, but there's still room to apply it. So now we're going to add our designer series paper. And this one I do think it's good to use the tear and tape. So you might remember the box was 8 inches, and this is 8 1/4, which means it's going to go around and overlap a little bit. And I always like to start on the back and end on the back because nobody's really looking at the back. And it's 2 inches, so it's the same height, which means getting it straight is going to be kind of critical. And I'm just getting some initial creases in it, so it's easier to fit it around. And it's gone a little, when that happens, of course, I've already put that on. Yep. I'm just going to trim a little bit off here. And we'll add a little more tape on there because, you know. Okay, so let's start this here. And I'm working standing up because that way I can push it down against the table, the desk there, and I know it's going to be straight. And you see how it kind of poofs out a little bit? I'm going to do a couple things. One, I'm going to load my chocolates in there. That just makes the box a little more solid to work with. I know they fit in there. And two, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of glue. So that as I put that on, I can see and it's lining up and it's sticking on a little bit more. So that's just a little, fits a little more snugly. It just feels more together. And that's going to come over like that. And now we're going to make a tag to keep it closed. And I'm going to use this tag that's part of the Lovely and Lasting, and it's got a coordinating punch, the lasting label. So, my Sweet Sorbet stamp pad, and I probably should be doing this on my mat because it is photopolymer. There we go. "79% humidity and 90 degrees. Ugh. Yeah, as chilly as it's been here, I still always prefer cold to hot and humid. That's just me though. Okay, so that was the Sweet Sorbet, and now I'm going to pull in Starry Sky. And I've got this Thank You. I'm going to punch it out. And try it out on there. I thought it was just going to fit. Yep. Yep. One there. And sure, let's put one right in the middle. Now, I'm not going to worry about it on this one, but if I had something where the tag was smaller, where's my other one? There we go. And again, because this one is masculine, I'm not worrying about it, but if I wanted to, I could come in with a corner rounder punch of some kind, and I could round those corners. You know, which, again, I'm not worried about it on this one. Just, it doesn't affect the aesthetic, but I'm just letting you know that's a possibility. And I'm going to put that on like so. And I'm not worried about it. Ugh, not crooked, but let's get it straight, maybe. Again, because the corners are basically hidden on this one. And there it is. You could emboss it if you wanted to. You could do all kinds of things. You could add little embellishments on there. I'm going to leave it just nice and simple like that. These would be great to be party favors, wedding favors. Anyhow, I think that I make them a lot, and so I think everybody knows them, and then I realize, you know what, it's been a couple years since I've really shown anybody that I do these. So then I pull them out again. So in my blog, that will be posted tomorrow's blog. I will have a link to the tutorial for these that I have used for 15 or more years. Yeah, I mean, I've just used it forever. And like you've seen how quick and simple they are. So that's what I've got for you today. There's the other one as well, so you can make them masculine or feminine or whatever. I think that's going to be a great way to use all of these cutouts that came with the He's the Man suite. What else? Oh, yep. I want to remind you again, I've got this stamp camp coming up, and you can reach out to me about that or getting catalogs or any other questions you have. nancysniftynotes.com. There's my email, nancy@nancysniftynotes.com. If you have something that you would love for me to do on one of these live videos, drop me a note. I'm probably happy to do it. I'm always looking for ideas. I have a class coming up on Sunday. If you want to let me know real fast that you're interested in coming and doing that, please do let me know. I'm going to start cutting kits for that today. After that, yeah, I'll be back same time, same place next week. Thanks for joining me. Gosh, this was a really fast one, wasn't it? But that's good. Have a great night. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.